Matibay yan mula simula hanggang ngayon. Siya na lang ata ang nananatili. Yung iba wala, kinain na ng katandaan. Hindi lang katandaan, pati ng kasinungalingan. Ito si Nanay Christy talagang lumalaban. Kaya idol natin yan si Nanay Christy. Anyway, eto na nga, pag-usapan po natin Pag-usapan lang natin itong mga bagay-bagay sa lipunan. Ito, unahin na natin itong issue patungkol dito sa ICC. Yung pag-deny po ng ICC. Nako, eto na nga. Sus, Ginoo.
Nananatiling nakakulong pa rin si dating Pangulong Duterte sa detention facility sa The Hague, Netherlands. Ibinasura na kasi ng ICC ang apela ni Duterte na interim release o pansamantalang kalayaan. At live mula sa The Hague sa Netherlands, nasa frontline ng balitang yan ng ating News 5 anchor Ruth Cabal. Ruth, ano ba naging batayan ng ICC sa kanilang desisyon?
Julius, kanina yung
nag-e-echo.
naman doon sa live streaming, yung naging desisyon nga ng appeals chamber na mananatili sa detention itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Bigyan ko lang muna kayo ng ng kwento kung paano tumakbo yung hearing kanina, para lang kasi walang camera doon sa loob, pero nakita niyo naman sa streaming. So nandun kami nakapasok ako doon sa public gallery, parang nakita ko siguro mga more than 100, parang ang tansya namin ay 140 seater yon. At hindi naman napuno yung gallery, pero nakita natin isa sa mga nandun ang kamag-anak, si Congressman Omar Duterte, yan ang apo ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Tapos tinitignan lang naman din natin kasi nga, just to give you an idea, nasa isang glass, at nasa second floor kami, at nandun sa baba yung mga judges habang binabasa nga itong desisyon. So tahimik, may security doon kasi naalala ko kanina, tinatanong sa atin nila Bok Edlingao na paano kung mag-react yung mga nandun sa gallery. So yung kanina, naging tahimik at lahat ay nakikinig lang dun sa naging desisyon. 10:41, ang schedule kasi niyan ay 10:30, pero 10:41 na nagsimula itong pagbabasa ng desisyon. At yun na nga, yung dinidiscuss natin kanina, ay nireject ng appeals chamber itong appeal para nga baliktarin yung pananatili sa detention ng dating Pangulo. Una-una, sinimulan doon sa naging grounds ng defense kung bakit nila inaapela, kung bakit nila ini-insist na dapat bigyan ng interim release itong dating Pangulo. Ang unang sinabi nga dyan ay yung dahil nga daw nagpo-post ng flight risk, at yung pangalawang grounds, at yan, malinaw yung sinabi ng appeals chamber na rejected yan dahil hindi naman paulit-ulit dun sa mga desisyon ay sinasabi na the defense has failed to demonstrate na nag-err o nagkamali itong pre-trial chamber 1 doon sa naging desisyon niya noon nga noong September na sinabing dapat manatili in detention si dating Pangulong Duterte. So basically, lahat ng grounds na nilatag ng defense for their appeal na erroneously failed daw to show that Duterte poses a risk. Yung isa pang sinasabi ng defense na the pre-trial chamber 1 erroneously daw na hindi kinonsider yung state warranties na may third country na tatanggap doon sa dating Pangulo. At yung third ay sinabi rin ng appeals chamber na again the defense failed to demonstrate na nagkamali doon sa sinasabi ng pre-trial chamber na hindi nila kinonsider yung humanitarian considerations dahil na doon sa edad ng 80-year-old na dating Pangulo at pati yung kanyang health condition. So inexplain nitong ng pre-trial chamber kung ano yung mga naging grounds. Halimbawa, sinabi nila na nananatili pa rin yung impluensya at yung resources, even financial resources ni Duterte ng dating Pangulo. Ganon din yung isa kasi sa pinuna yung mga ginamit daw na basihan ay parang ito mga newspaper articles or yung mga publication. At sinabi naman ng appeals chamber na nakita nila na pwedeng gamitin at pagbasihan yon doon sa mga statements ng dating Pangulo kung paano niya several times daw na he tried to interfere with an investigation, kaya nananatili nga siyang risk. Binanggit din dito ng appeals chamber na isa nga na hindi na-demonstrate, again, the defense failed to demonstrate na nagkaroon ng error doon nga sa pagtingin sa humanitarian considerations. At sinasabi rin dito na failed to demonstrate na yung mga naging desisyon ng pre-trial chamber 1 na sinabi nila dapat continued detention ni dating Pangulong Duterte, failed to show na unreasonable or irrelevant yung mga naging basihan nung dating desisyon ng pre-trial chamber 1. Kaya ang appeals court ay sinabi na mananatili in detention ang dating Pangulo dahil nga na-satisfy naman yung grounds based dun sa mga Rome Statute kung ano ang dapat maging basihan na mananatili na hawak at under custody at in detention ang isang suspect, Julius. Unanimous bagitin ko na lang din unanimous yung naging desisyon nitong appeals chamber. 3 lang yung lumabas na judges kanina, pero 5 yung miyembro niyang appeals chamber. At alam ko nandun sa labas sina Congressman Omar Duterte at yung iba pang mga taga-suporta kasi marami rin, may ilan din mga taga-suporta na pumasok doon sa gallery na nakita natin, nakasama natin na nanonood at nakinig nung desisyon. Pero yan muna yung latest mula dito kasi we're not allowed to do interviews or to take videos inside the ICC building. Julius.
Ruth, ang ibig sabihin ba nito ay wala nang hadlang para magtuloy-tuloy yung trial ni dating Pangulong Duterte at hindi na sila pwedeng mag-apila ng panibagong appeal sa korte?
Yan ang mga sinasabi ng mga legal experts, Julius, na kumbaga kung titingnan mo ay final na yung desisyon ng appeals chamber. Pero tandaan natin, magkakaroon pa kasi ng confirmation of charges hearing. So doon pa lang malalaman kung uusad nga at magpapatuloy sa formal trial itong kasong crimes against humanity ng dating Pangulo. So mangyayari pa yan yung hindi pa natutuloy ang confirmation of charges hearing, Julius.
Ruth, kanina nasabi
Sherry.
mo na kasama mo habang kayo'y nakikinig ng desisyon yung apo ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Nagkaroon ba kayo ng pagkakataon na makapag-usap?
Hindi kasi medyo strict sila doon, so parang pagpasok mo doon sa public gallery, may space kasi yung media. So nasa front row kami nung media side, nandun sila sa kabilang side for the supporters and the family and yung mga iba pang may mga nakita tayong consul from representatives from the embassy at marami tayong nakita ng mga ng mga foreign journalists na nandun. So ngayon ang pinapayagan lang from outside of the building, meron kasing barricade, yung usual kung saan nagtitipon yung mga supporters. So ang alam natin ay nandun sila ngayon. Sa labas ito ng ICC.
Okay, so noong habang binabasa at naririnig na yung desisyon, may narinig ka bang reaction? Ano yung scene doon sa loob? Kahit
Oo.
natahimik, tensyonado ba?
Actually, sinisilip-silip ko siya kasi magkaroon kami pareho kaming nasa front row So sinisilip-silip ko siya pero nakita ko na lang siya, na seriously listening lang siya doon sa decision kasi English actually yung nung una kasi meron
Grabe yung decision ng ICC, no. Ang pinakamatindi dito yung sa pag-reject kasi ang dinadahilan, maraming dinadahilan po ang defense o si Kaufman. At isa sa mga sinasabi dito, wala naman ang threat. I mean, para yung isang 80 years old ay kailangan na pong mabigyan ng atensyong medikal. At wala namang pong threat. At ang sagot ng ICC, tingnan nyo kung nasa hulog. Para sa akin, wala sa hulog yun. Sabi ba naman nila, may threat pa kasi dahil sa mga lumalabas na mga statement from the family, at the same time doon sa media na sinasabi, at the same time nanalo pang mayor, at the same time meron pang influence sa Pilipinas. Alam mo, huwag kayong magtaka kung ganon. Kasi alam ko sa inyo, walang kwenta yung mga presidente ninyo. Nagkataon talaga mahal ng mga Pilipino etong si Pangulong Duterte na kahit hindi na nga makapagsalita na masyado ng diretso at makatayo at makalakad ng diretso ay talagang hinahangaan pa rin po ng mga Pilipino at lalong-lalo na kahit dyan sa Davao na binoto pa rin po siya. Kahit po yung mga kalaban niya ay nagmudmud na ng pera, nagpakalat na ng pera, ay nananalo pa rin siya. At sa trust rating, talagang kakaiba pa rin po si PRRD. Kasi nga simpleng-simple lang naman Hindi ho naintindihan itong mga taga-ICC yung issue. Ang Pilipinas malala. Ang Pilipinas sabik na sabik magkaroon ng government official, particular, presidente, na matino. Alam mo, kung ikaw ay nakatira dito sa Pilipinas, hey you, kasi gusto kong kausapin mga judge. Hey you, judgmental. Hey you, judge. Hey you, judge. Listen to me very carefully. If you live in the Philippines, therefore you were born here. No. If you live in the Philippines, you would understand the context. Because we are a nation of political corruption is really massive. Our politicians are traitors. Our politicians are greedy. And it is our first time in the history to have a president who risked his life to kill the criminals, to jail the criminals, and to bump. Shit! Banggain! And to oppose the oligarchs. It is first time in our country to have that kind of president. That's why Rodrigo Roa Duterte is a very famous president. Imagine all the people. Iskanta pala yun, shit. Hindi, imagine, Imagine this nation, since from the very beginning in our history, we are ruled by traitors, we are ruled by greedy people, we were sold to America. So, that's why when we see, hindi, tapos na pala. When we saw a good mayor from Davao City, from Mindanao, he was supported nationwide. And majority of Filipinos, that's why you are wondering how come these things are happening still. Duck shit. Huwag kayo magulo. Ina-explain ko nga doon sa judge. Malay nyo magbago isip ng mga judge. Magbago isip, sabihin, this crazy sana mabits. Ako magbago sa akin. Ayun na, this crazy ano. Sorry naman. Hindi. Hindi, alam mo, baka sabihin kasi nitong mga to, hindi nila naintindihan po talaga di ba? Alam mo, kayong mga judge diyan. Huwag kayong magtaka kung kung bakit ganito ang suporta na natatanggap ng aming presidente. Dahil talaga nga namang matindi ang alam mo 'yon, ang ginawa ni Pangulong Duterte sa Pilipinas. Sobrang maganda ang nagawa niya, accomplishment. Kaya ganun siya kasikat. No wonder, until now, ganun pa rin. Kasi nga, atat tayo sa isang leader na matino. At nangyari yun nung panahon, 6 na taon niya. Nagkaroon tayo ng tatay. Ika nga, nagkaroon tayo ng ama sa Pilipinas. Kaya hanggang ngayon, sikat pa rin. It doesn't mean na may power siya. Oo, may power siya in a sense na dahil naniniwala sa kanya mga tao. Pero hindi violente. Para itakas siya, para makapagtago. Paano magtatago yan? Naka-crane na nga siya. Hindi na nga makalakad na maayos. Nakakalimot na. Walang planong tumakas yan. Pero syempre, ang nakakapagtaka dito, naniwala siya sa propaganda ng mga media. Ano ba ang propaganda ng media? Kasi nabulag ng mga media to Kasi mga media ngayon, pag nagbalita, grabe. Hanggang ngayon, many were killed in Duterte's war. Many EJK. Gago. Sa totoo lang pasensya na po Kayong mga media may kasalanan din Mga hindot talaga kayo Binabali ninyo, ang dami ninyo sinasabing namatay. Hindi nyo naman nakikita, wala nga kayo mapangalanan. Di ba? Bakit? Ayaw nyo kasi kay Pangulong Duterte dahil pinagbayad yung mga amo nyo. Hey, ICC, you listen to me. The owner of this mainstream media in the Philippines are the oligarchs. There are the bad businessman in the Philippines. And because of that, our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte penalized them by paying their taxes the rightful way. That's why they are mad with Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Because they pay taxes. Before, they can manipulate the tax and pay less. But when Rodrigo Roa Duterte became the president, he said to these oligarchs who owns this mainstream media, Hoy! Ano hoy? Pinoy ako! Hindi pala. He said, pay your taxes or I will close down your business. Ganun. So they pay their taxes. That's why they're mad. They're forming many fake news. You listen to me carefully. You're not listening to me. Why do you think? You listen, You listen. Why do you think majorities of Filipinos still believe in Duterte? Why? If Duterte is really bad, if Duterte is really evil, why until now, amidst all the propaganda of the mainstream media, all the propaganda of Marcos, all of the propaganda of these paid bloggers has no effect to the Dutertes? Because Duterte is really the true hero of this country. He fought against these oligarchs. He fought against these criminals. And he really served without corruption in our country. Now you're telling us he is a dangerous man? You're fool! I hope this video will go to you. Sometimes, Kasi absent ng absent nung kabataan, anak ng wewe, oh. Huwag kasi absent ng absent. Kaya kayo mga kabataan, ha? Huwag kayong nude-nude ng mga kabadingan lang na pinanunood ninyo dyan, ha? Mag-aral kayo para hindi kayo matulad sa English ko, ha? O ito, panoorin nga natin yung komento ni sino ba to? Si Panelo, ito nga isa sa mga idol natin. Pasok!
In detention, the ICC Appeals Chamber unanimously denied his request for interim release. The Hague-based court rejected his camp's arguments that he should be freed due to his advanced age and alleged declining health. What's next for Mr. Duterte? Let's get on point with his former chief presidential legal counsel, Attorney Salvador Panelo. Attorney Panelo, good to see you again. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time. Were you surprised with the decision of the Appeals Chamber of the ICC?
No, I'm
No.
just saying this is a foregone conclusion. In the first place, they forced themselves into this country without jurisdiction. So alam mo na kung ano mangyayari. Plus the cooperation of this government, talagang tuloy-tuloy.
But did you look into the points raised by the defense and, of course, also the prosecution regarding the interim release? Maybe it's good that let's look into them one by one. So, accordingly, yung sabi po ng prosecution, wag ibigay yung interim release. One, because his detention remained necessary. Kailangan siyang manatili doon. Number two, that the conditions proposed for release not sufficient to mitigate risks. Yun po yung second point nung prosecutor. And the third was also rejected that he should be released on humanitarian grounds. So those were their points.
Number one, why is it necessary according to them? Why is it necessary? Ano ba sabi nila? Bakit necessary? May reason ba sila bakit necessary?
The influence that he has still, and in fact that was also said and announced earlier by the appeals chamber. Maraming gusto nang sinasabi na I heard it, I read parts of it I read it and I heard parts of it because we were also going on air. Ang sabi po nila, Attorney Sal, is that often they said that him being a former president, still having authority and having won as mayor, yun narinig ko yun maybe twice or three times, para kung nakasama pa sa kanya.
He
sa
was
kanyang
former
kaso.
president. And at the time that he was president, all these accusations had surfaced then. And the witnesses were there. And he didn't lift a finger at all against all of them. So where's the risk?
Oh, that's a good point, ha? Hindi, tama naman eh. Sa lahat na nag-post, lahat ng fake news, wala naman eh. He was the president, wala naman po siyang pinakulong, pinapatay. Hindi nga katulad ngayon eh. Lahat ng oposisyon, tinatakot, kinakasuhan, yung magsasalita pa yung sekretary na kesyo, si Dizon yan. Narinig yung si PRRD ng ganun? Oo, matapang si PRRD, pero ang kanyang tinatakot lang, mga kriminal. Mga oposisyon, wala. Itong gobyerno natin ngayon, walang tinakot na kriminal. Sinabi pa nga, ang mga nagdadrugs siya mga yan kasi kailangan sa trabaho. Ano tinakot nila ngayon? Yung mga nagpaparesign kay Marcos, yun ang tinakot nila. Baligtad eh. Kaya napaka-demonyo ng gobyernong to.
Yung mga risks that possibly would have come out would be interference, etc. No? So let's look at...
How can
Go
he
ahead.
interfere? Di ba? Unang-una, sabi nila,
May network kasi of influence. What do you say to that? That network of influence.
malabo nga yun. Kasi kung nung actual president siya, hindi niya ginamit yung influence niya at yung power, bakit ngayon wala siya, gagamitin niya? Walang logic. Tapos yung sinasabi nila yung baka mag-escape, may risk. The man is 80 years old. He cannot even maintain balance. We know that he has plenty of sakit. Paano tatakas? I'm sure kung siyang masusunod, pag na-release siya, gusto niya na lang sa ospital diretso. Ilang gusto niya?
If we were to, I mean, you're obviously very vocal no about this justification on the former president, but that's not what obviously the appeals chamber saw. Hindi ho ba? Kaya nireject yung kanyang interim release eh.
They will always be seeing the negative side on this issue precisely because at the very inception, ang tawag doon sa basketball, forcing through eh. Wala ka na nga jurisdiction, kaya mo pinilit pumunta rito eh. Talagang target mo si Duterte, walang iba. At nag-participate pa itong gobyerno natin, talagang tuloy-tuloy na yan. Kahit anong sabihin mo, ever since sinasabi ko, wala na yan.
So from the very beginning, alam niyo na the interim release was a no-go.
Kasi nga, yung jurisdiction lang eh, may problema ka lang sa jurisdiction eh.
Yeah, but that was already decided upon.
Ang problema, kasi I was my unsolicited advice to the defense lawyers. Kasi napansin ko, ang sinasabi ng chamber, di ba, ang niraise nila is yung ginawa mong parang kini-request mo yung jurisdiction. Ang ground mo lang is that we withdrew and nag-umpisa kayo ng investigation 2 years after. Yun lang, nilimit nila doon. And I said, dagdagan nyo pa. Number one,
Anong dapat idagdag?
dapat ang one jurisdiction mo, number one is yung ground for jurisdiction. The Rome Statute never took effect in this country because of the constitutional requirement of
Publishing
publication.
it
That's
in the
one.
official gazette.
Oh, may ruling ng Supreme Court doon yung sa Tavera case. Sinabi na yun, pag hindi mo publish yan, walang epekto yan. Number two, ang sabi ko, dapat dinagdag nyo na yung pinagpipilitan na, kasi sabi nila, hindi, you're still under obligation sa amin kasi we started the investigation. They're referring
The
to the
preliminary examination.
I've been saying
Yeah. It's called preliminary examination.
matagal ko na sinasabi, yung preliminary examination cannot be part of preliminary investigation. You know why? It doesn't discuss the case. What it determined at the time was whether or not the principle of complementarity applies. Because all the states, members of the Rome Statute, hindi sila pwedeng pumasok unless, one, wala silang
Kasapi ka.
kakayahan. No capability. At kung may capability naman, they're not doing it kasi sila yung mga guilty. That's the only time, yun ang dinidetermine nila. In fact, I remember the Solicitor General at the time, nilalabanan nila, excuse me, we have a robust, di ba sila robust legal system. We have, tingnan mo, Pinky, we have prosecuted thousands, we jailed thousands. Ano pa bang prueba na may capacity tayo? Number two, may sinipa tayong presidente, in-exile natin. Number three, 2 presidente pinakulong natin. Ang dami libo-libo nakakulong. Paano mo sasabihin wala tayong kakayahan? Doon lang, only on that basis alone, wala na jurisdiction. Kaya dapat ako, sinama niyo yun.
Bakit hindi sinama? As you were suggesting.
Hindi ko na alam yun. Ang problema kasi sa kanila,
Sino ba sila, sir?
yung mga defense lawyers ng mga dayon, ayaw nila kasi yung magpapasok ng Filipino lawyer. They were relying principally on the former president. Sila na nga nagsasabi may cognitive decline. So kung ano mga tatanong nila, baka nakalimutan na nung mama.
Is it also possible that the arguments that you raised to them may seem weak?
Ay, anong week? Napakalakas nga.
To them, I said, may seem
Aba, hindi
weak.
po pwede. You have to follow. Kasi yung domestic law prevails over international law. Yan ang pinaka-importante ron. You cannot interfere in the jurisdiction of a country unless that country.
Alam mo, may point din ito talaga si Panelo, no? Medyo sana nga magkaroon ng advisor itong si Kaufman na alam ang konteksto sa Pilipinas. Kasi actually maraming ako nababasa na medyo nagagalit o naiinis kay Kaufman. Parang ganon. Although, again, I think bago kahit sino pang abogadong ilagay mo dyan, ay mukhang masasabi nating luto na yung kaso. Mukhang, kasi una-una, nakipagkuntsabahan eh. Nakipagkuntsabahan ang ICC at itong si Marcos. Kung gusto nyo malaman ng buong istorya niyan, may live si si Sas Roganda, sorry, hindi ko nakalimutan ko na. Basta, si Sas, meron siyang live dyan. At sinasabi nga niya, may letter na sinulat ang ating gobyerno sa ICC. May confidential letter. Tapos, tsaka daw doon in-issue yung warrant. So, para bagang may ni-request, parang gano'n na sinasabi ni Sas. Parang merong confidential na ni-request. Ibig sabihin, nagkuntsabahan yung dalawa. So, mukhang luto na ho itong pangyayari na ito na maaring kahit palitan pa si Kaufman, baka wala ring epekto. Although maganda yung suggestion ni Panelo na sana kumuha ng advisor na sa local. Especially ako, suggestion ko it's either Panelo o si Roque, di ba? Kasi mas naiintindihan ng konteksto ng Pilipinas at mas naiintindihan siguro yung kalalagayan. Yung naging parte kasi ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Duterte.
Allows you. And this is a particular case where they allow. Pero may kondisyon. Papasok kayo sa amin kasi wala kaming kakayahan. Or may kakayahan man kami, mga siraulo yung mga nandun, kaya hindi ipoprosecute. That's the only time. Kasi, if we will agree with their theory, ay wala nang country na maaaring lumabas sa kanilang jurisdiction. Kasi palagi nilang sinasabi, from the time a case is filed, we have jurisdiction. Isus Maria Josep. Di wala na pala. Absolute na pala. Kasi kahit anong sabi mong wala kayong jurisdiction on this ground, hindi na pwede kasi, nag-file, we determine, preliminary, hindi na kayo po pwede.
there was a
So,
decision made on that.
absolute na pala yung authority nyo. So, sinira nyo yung jurisdiction ng lahat ng bansa na miyembro nyo. Hindi naman po pwede yun.
So what could be next? Because there's still a motion on the unfit to stand trial. Basically, ang sabi ng defense, tigilan na natin yung let's stop the proceedings because the former president is unfit to stand trial.
Good you mentioned that kasi I've been criticizing the chamber. Sabi nila, we're denying because the accused wasn't able to prove that he is mentally unfit. Sabi ko, excuse me, bakit ang accused magpo-prove? He is a controlled environment. Nakakulong eh. He has no access to medical equipment, medical expertise. Kayo yun eh. ICC kaya dapat from the very
Why do you say he
beginning.
has no access to medical
How can he
doctors?
How can he has that?
They're big
Nakakulong
on,
na.
malaki po sila on the
Hindi.
medical condition of the respondents that they are keeping detained there.
Ang sinasabi nila, meron naman kaming doktor, di ba?
Yeah, we have a
meron
round-the-clock
kaming nurse. Si Presidente Duterte, bago nila inaresto, ilan ba ang nurses niya? 3. 24 hours, palit-palit.
Shifting of
Yeah,
8
may
hours
doktor pa.
each.
Ay doon, meron kang nurse sa nurse station. Hindi mo binabantayan yung pasyente mo. Eh, napakadelikado ng sitwasyon niya. Kaya sabi ko, kayo dapat ang mag-prove na mentally fit yan.
But isn't that the reason why they got 3 independent medical doctors to look into the
Oh,
former
dati
president?
tinanggal nila yung isa.
Dalawa na po yung tinanggal nila.
But
They
that
took out
came-
one, pinalitan, and then yung pinalitan.
Yes, but that came later after they've been criticized severely yung kanilang ginawa na bakit yung accused ang pinapaprove mo na unfit siya. Kayo dapat yung from the very start, nung dinitay nyo pa lang yan, dapat in-examine nyo na yan.
But they did examine him, right?
Pero kung totoo yun, eh bakit nagpapa-examine na naman silang panibago? Sige nga.
Because of the motion of Attorney Kaufman
Exactly.
that he is unfit to stand
Exactly.
trial. That came from the defense. That did not
Teka
come
muna,
from the prosecution.
Exactly. Kung in-examine mo na yan, kahit ka pa mag-file ng motion, kung ako ang judge, excuse me, in-examine na namin yan. He's mentally fit. The fact alone na you allowed yourself to grant such motion, you're admitting na hindi mo in-examine nun.
Of
Yan
course,
kaya
you
may
have to grant
problema.
the motion because it was a motion or an application coming from the defense. Alam nga naman, hindi mo pansinin yun. Di
Oo
ba?
nga, pero
At saka one more thing, Attorney Sal, no? The former president was there in March, hindi ho ba? So chinek siya, he seemed okay. Obviously, that's why he remained there. From March till November, or from the time that the unfit to stand trial was filed by the defense, I believe that was sometime September 10. So maybe the first week of September, kasi dapat yung confirmation of charges na September 23. They filed that motion, unfit to stand trial. My question is, from the time of March till September, that possibly, I'm assuming, was the time that Attorney Kaufman, the defense team, and said that throughout this time, here is the former president now, unfit to stand trial. There was a decline.
Kasi nga, dapat from the time na na-arresto yan, in-examine mo na thoroughly yan, considering na marami siyang nararamdaman. Pero hindi naman nila ginawa yan. Ordinaryong examination, yung blood pressure, okay
I
ba?
don't think so, sir. How do you know
Hindi.
that?
Eh, kung totoo yung sinasabi nila, bakit mo nga pina-examine uli?
Okay, we're not
Because you can
gonna-
always deny the motion, Pinky, on the ground now. Excuse me, you have already examined that thoroughly. This is the report.
Yeah, but they at some point when they decide on this, Attorney Panelo, they can deny that motion of unfit to stand trial. But let's first take a breather. We're gonna take a very short break. We'll be right back.
Ayaw tumanggap ni Pinky. Bakit kaya ayaw tumanggap ni Pinky? Galit na galit.
Welcome back. Now we have on the line ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Christina Conti. Attorney Conti,
Yan,
welcome to
tapos
the
siyang
show.
kakampihan. Tingnan nyo.
Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, Pinky.
Okay, just a quick reaction from your end regarding the decision of the appeals chamber.
We're absolutely satisfied. It was a unanimous decision to reject, deny the appeal of Duterte. And sabi nga ng mga biktima, mukhang makakapagpasko sila ng kahit paano masaya.
Attorney Conti, some of the points now raised, which Attorney Salvador Panelo is here also beside me, and he was raising it as well. Yung mga issues, kasi just to give a little bit of a background no, dito sa naging appeal ng defense regarding the decision of the pretrial chamber on the interim release. Sabi ng pretrial, his detention remains necessary.
Yes.
The conditions proposed for the release are not sufficient to mitigate risks, no? And then the third was rejected that he should be released through humanitarian reasons. Yun po sabi ng pretrial chamber. We're not going to allow it because of those points. Before I go to the defense argument, you know, Attorney Panelo also here, as I mentioned a while ago, saying, anong risks? Ano pa ba ang risks? And when I answered him, because I heard it during the appeals chamber decision, sabi nga na meron pa siyang network of influence, dating Pangulo, at ngayon ay nanalo pa na mayor ng Davao. Tama ho ba yung aking rinig, Attorney Conti?
Yes, that's precisely it. It's that Duterte still enjoys influence within the Philippines, and not only influence, he and his family, his associates, lagi nababanggit no, associates and networks. So it's not
Grabe, no? Hindi nila matanggap talaga eh. Iniisip pa rin nila, eto ganyan katindi at yung power ni PRRD. Nakakulong na siya. Iniisip pa ng ICC, iniisip pa nitong itong taon to na meron talagang matinding network and influence si Pangulong Duterte. Maniniwala pa sana ako kung bati si Marcos at saka si VP Sara Duterte, maniniwala pa sana ako. Pero hindi naman na sila eh. I mean, hindi na sila unit team. Magkaaway na nga sila. Ginigipit na nga si VP Sara Duterte. So, saan kukuha ng power si Pangulong Duterte? Grabe antindi na. Hindi, sa loob ko, antindi ng influence ni Pangulong Duterte at power niya. Hindi nyo sinasabi yan kay BBM. Ba't ganun? Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, mas may kapangyarihan pa si Pangulong Duterte, mas may impluwensya pa siya para makatakas siya at makabalik sa Pilipinas kaysa sa Pangulo na nakaupo ngayon? Ganon?
to him. That was actually one of the defense arguments in the appeal. Sabi nila, wala nang magagawa si Duterte, nakakulong na siya. The chamber now says, it's not just him that you need to appreciate. It's his associates, his family members who are in office. One is Vice President of the Philippines.
I see.
And it's also the resources available to them. And I'd like to point out that what the judge pointed out regarding parang what risk for the ICC, it's the possibility, not the inevitability of something happening, is what is important. Kumbaga, an
So sinasabi niya influence. So sige, punta tayo doon sa influence network, yung yung anak niya, 'di ba? Na si VP Sara Duterte. Si VP Sara Duterte nga ginigipit. Hindi nga makagalaw si VP Sara Duterte. Ultimo nga budget ng opisina niya kinatkong. Lahat ginawa sa kanya. Kakasuhan pa, kung ano-ano pang gagawin sa kanya. Ano sinasabi ninyong meron pang influence na ano? Yan sinasabi nila kasi parang ang dating, oo nga, nakakulong na si Duterte, pero paano naman yung network of niya? Anong network? Alam mo, eto makinig kayo mabuti. Makinig kayo mga tatanga-tangang komento ng political analyst dyan. Kung may influensya pa mga Duterte, wala na sa posisyon si BBM. Kasi yan ang pinalalabas ninyo eh. May influensyahan pa, meron pang influensya, meron pang power si Duterte. Kung may power si Duterte, hindi na nakaupo yan yung presidente na yan, si BBM. Bakit? Imagine niyo kung may power sa tindi ng banat ng kapatid niya. Ang dali-dali na sakyan yan. Di sana sinabihan niya na yung mga sundalo, hulihin nyo na yan, adik yan. Di ba? Kita nyo hanggang ngayon nakaupo pa rin. Kasi hindi ganun ang mga Duterte. Ayaw ng Duterte sa rebellion. Ayaw ng Duterte ang beyond legal means. Ganun ang mga Duterte. Ba't takot na takot kayo sa sarili ninyong multo?
of prevention is worth a pound of cure. As much as possible, they would avoid. And kumbaga, dapat hindi yung parang second thought na ay nakalaya na, oops, oo nga, no, sayang, di natin nagawa ng paraan. Or, ay, may biktima na namatay or may witness na nawala. They, as much as possible, do not go to that inevitability or the thing happening, but just the mere possibility, they will act on it.
Just also a follow-up because Attorney Panelo also was saying a while ago, no, nung Pangulo nga siya, wala siyang ginawa, didn't even lift a finger for any influence or to intervene dito sa mga kaso or sa mga biktima. I know, Attorney Conte, you were saying that it's not him. It's also his networks and associates, no? But just to answer that also while Attorney Panelo's here. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, if you remember the Senate investigation, and this is one of the factual information that was contested in the appeal or discussed in the appeal, it's the reliance on a news report about the alleged parang loyalty check by, if I may name names, no, this was by the former Senator, currently Senator Alan Peter Cayetano and Bato de la Rosa. They were talking to a witness in the hearings about the DDS killings, and parang he was loyalty check, alam mo na kung kanino ka magiging loyal, alam mo na. That was included in the consideration of the pre-trial chamber.
I see.
That's associated clearly at that point. Alan Peter had run as vice president of Duterte, di ba?
Right. Right. Okay. Also, there's one point I wanted to raise. I have to be very candid. I didn't get to watch the whole reading of the decision because I was also on air. There was a part, though, that I hope you can clarify for me because there were 3 points that were raised ni Huba. Inisa-isa po yun ni Judge. Kaya rejected yung first point, rejected yung second point, rejected po yung third point. At one point there, the judge was talking about humanitarian considerations to the effect that yung pagkarinig ko po that dapat balikan ng pretrial chamber itong appeal on humanitarian considerations. Did you hear that or did I just not hear it in full? Kasi parang ang sabi ko noon, mukhang sinasabi ng appeals chamber, kailangan talaga tingnan yung kanyang medical situation.